Today we're on episode 3 of the COMC Tutorial Series. In this video we'll be covering two main topics. 1. How to request a shipment home, and 2. How to submit the cards physically in your possession to COMC to then sell on the platform. I'll start by taking you through each at the very beginner level from the new COMC account that we created in the previous videos. And I'll end with going through real examples of shipping cards home that I purchased and also shipping in cards that are in my possession that I intend to sell on the COMC platform myself. So this should be a little more fast-paced, hands-on tutorial video where you get to see some of what we've been talking about come to life. So let's get to work. Hey, how's it going YouTube? It's Ian with Good Form Sports Cards. If you are a regular on the series, I hope you found the tutorials helpful. For newer COMC users, I hope the information has encouraged you to sign up and dip your feet in the water and try it out. For the more seasoned users, I hope you've still been able to find some valuable stuff to tweak your processes just a little bit to make your experience on the site just a little bit better. If you are one of those users that have seen the previous videos, please drop into the comments and let me know what's been most helpful to you so far and or what you'd like to see me cover next. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see here, please take a moment to like the video, drop into the comments, give me some feedback, let me know what you liked, what you disliked, what you'd like to see. And then of course, subscribe to the channel so that you can stay informed as new videos are posted and you can see other content same or similar to this. So with the channel plug out of the way, let's just get started. We're going to start off with how do you request a shipment of cards home? So last episode we covered how you buy cards on the platform through various different avenues. So now we're going to assume that you've done that and you've accumulated some cards in your vault, and now is the time to begin setting up a shipment home. You want to request to get those cards sent to you. So we are going to get started here. We've got the brand new account out in front of me here, and we are going to start the process, and I'm just going to walk you through that, and then when we kind of get to the finish line about when I'd actually hit submit and make like a real request home, I'm going to cut over to my real account and show you a request that I'm actually going to be sending home so you can see what it looks like with cards in there. And I can, at that point, walk through different fees, show you how when I buy a certain way, how that affects the shipping, okay? So we're just going to get started on the simple stuff, then we're going to jump into a little bit more of the complex stuff. And all of this will have chapters in here, so if the beginning part here seems way too fundamental and you just don't need it, you don't have to watch it, you can just skip forward to the good stuff. Whatever is going to be most helpful to you, I just want to make sure I cover it all. I'm treating this as if you've never seen this site before, and we'll be basically sitting on your laptop walking through it as I go. And if that's way too simple for where you're at, that's okay. Again, just skip ahead and we will meet you there when we do the submission home. Here on your dashboard, we're going to go right over here. This is your buyer menu. So this is where we went through before about your different auction wins, your watch list. Now we want to do the obvious of this video, request a shipment. We're going to do that. And then of course right here below is going to show your history of shipments. So since this is our first one, we're going to go here. And the first thing that we need to do, since we have none of it here, is you need to add your contact information, and not only your contact information, but where do you want the shipment to go. Just make sure you get your correct shipment address. That's really the point of this screen, not worth spending a lot more time on. So we're going to edit the address here. Okay, now for video purposes, I'm just going to fill this out. It's going to really just accept anything because it does. But if you are shipping home, you want to make sure that you are going to put accurate information in here, obviously, because you want to receive your collectibles. I will put in the Good Form Sports Cards P.O. Box. If you want to send some fan mail, feel free. No anthrax, please. You're going to put that in there, and although that is the correct zip code for Maple Grove, the zip for the post office is right there. Okay, I'm going to put in a fake local number here, so at least it's fake to me. You're welcome to try it out, but it will not reach me. So this is just an example for the video. You will need to have all fields complete. If you don't, and you skip the phone number, it's just going to give you a red error message and make you do it. So we are going to skip that pane for this video and save. We should get the green. So we are good here. We've got our address. We said, yep, good. Mr. Good Form is really feels good about it. So now we're going to hit continue. Since I have no items, it tells me right here like, hey, bozo, you have no items. But assuming I did, I would have selected them and it would go to this screen where you select your shipping And once you are done and you have your item selected, there will be a button here that says Approve Submission. So it's really pretty simple. It's about the review process of the cards. It's really the hard part about requesting a shipment is really just getting your list of cards correct. After that, it's really not much more complicated. So what I'm going to do now is jump over to my main account, and I'm going to go through a real life scenario where I request a shipment home of my own cards that I purchased through various means on the site. It could have been fixed, it could have been auction, might have been items that I shipped in and couldn't sell, and I'm just going to ship them back to myself, or a combination of anything. So we'll cut over to that now. Okay, so now we're ready to prepare an order to be shipped home. Before we get into the process there, I'm going to show you exactly how you partition your cards off that you want to be sent home, basically how you queue them up or put them in a certain spot where they're separate from what you have in your inventory and what you have listed and whatnot. So you can see this little yellow banner here. This is pretty common with COMC. It's whenever you have a card that hits your inventory and they want you to assign it. So you either price it, list it not for sale, you just kind of store it, or you can flag it to be sent home. So these are some recent auction pickups I had. They're pretty cheap. You can see I picked it up for $1.23, $4.73, stuff like that. So here in your actions menu, you can pick a number of things. We're going to add these to the shipment. So what this is going to do is queue these up for the shipment that I'm about to do home, and it's going to combine them with the cards that I've already staged, which is roughly like 100, 110, somewhere in there. Okay. So if we go back to the home screen here, this banner will be gone. So all the cards that hit inventory that didn't have an assignment have now been assigned. And you can see here I have 129 cards ready to ship. And we are going to get started with the shipment home there. So there's two ways that you can get that started. We can just click this here. It's going to bring you to that queue of cards that you want to ship home, which will look like this. And you can start the process, or you can go from the menu over here, request shipment, and it is going to bring you to the exact same menu. Okay, so here, shipping address, you're going to want to make sure that you get that accurate from the beginning, name and contact information. And then down here is going to be all the contents that you've stored for shipping. And there's a number of things you can do with it, and it really depends on how you bought it. So we're not going to go through 120 some cards I have here, mostly for time, and then of course they're probably going to be in a future mail day too, so no sense in spoiling all of it. But you can see we've got a handful of cards here. This is the purchase price. You can add a top loader if you'd like, 50 cents a piece. I typically don't. They package really well, unless you've got a really, like, once I get into like a $20 card or something, I'll have them throw top loaders on. But other than that, I don't get into getting soaked for for a lot of money. Obviously, if you have roughly 130 cards, you put a top loader on them, it's another $70 that you're throwing into your order. So, and then the shipping and handling, this is the internal shipping and handling for COMC. These are the standard cards with the 25 cents, and since I won them at auction or would have purchased them through the reseller mode, the shipping has not been paid on them yet. So I was able to acquire these cards at a good price. However, the shipment home is probably going to be $50 or $60, to be honest with you. Let's see if I can find some that were elite here so I can show you a little bit about what that looks like. Alright, so here we go. So here's an elite one, and you can see the top loader function is not there because it was already processed as elite. So these cards will come in top loaders. You don't need to buy them, but you can see the shipping and handling is also the elite level. So that's what you have to watch for when you win one of these cards. For instance, this Terrell Owens and even the Tony Parker, they're not particularly valuable. And you might think, wow, $239, that's a good pickup. But at $339, does that leave you a lot of room to make money on eBay if it's not gradable? I don't know. So you do have to watch those things, especially on the lower end cards. When you get up higher, it doesn't. The 75-cent difference obviously is not going to bother you. But all right, so we've got this. I've already queued this up ahead of time, so I know I want the cards that are in here to go home. So I am going to continue. And we're going to put a declared value in here. You should have a pretty good idea of what your cards are going to be worth. I'm going to put that in here. This is going to help if there's any kind of claim or anything like that. You can see the shipping options here, what you're going to pay. I particularly don't care about the extra couple of weeks really on these cards. There's nothing that's a rush, so I'm going to take it the least amount possible. But you can have them rushed. So you could pay to get these. I mean, as I'm recording this, it's July 17th. So I mean, you could have your cards in a week. if you really wanted them. And if you really had a lot or had some high-end ones that you were depending on getting them graded really quick and catching a particular window, that might be worth doing those sort of things. To me, it's just about keeping your costs down as much as possible, especially on low-end cards. So 68's in line with what I assumed it would be. I thought I'd be right around there. So you see, you pay for that preemptively out of your credits, so you would need to have credits or make a payment at the time of checking out. They're going to charge you up front for your shipment before they even begin work on it. So we're going to continue with requesting the shipment. And then here it is going to go through, so it's giving you your order place, picking all this good stuff. Your QR code, you can scan that, check the status, but it's pretty straightforward. So all these cards right here are good to go. So it's literally that easy to place your order, and then you can check the status here pretty regularly. You can either scan the QR code. It's got an estimate here, which really is still not bad. It's like a month, which tells you, look at all the people that are ahead of you, or the items that are ahead of you. It's pretty overwhelming to look at, but it goes pretty fast. So here's where you can view the status of your order, if there's any updates. Another place you can look as well is from your main menu. You can look over here and look at your shipment history. It's going to show the status of all shipments, including your current one. So you can see here some previous ones that I've had, and then this one right here. So it says the shipment request is complete, but it's still going. So that's how you request a shipment home. It's very easy. It's pretty much just comes down to giving them the right address, making sure you have the right cards queued up, going through them in detail to see if you want top loaders or not. And really it's forming the right queue of cards, paying the shipping, and it just kind of handles itself. So I hope that was helpful in showing you a little bit about how COMC works, how you can kind of queue things up in your vault and then bulk ship it home. So that wasn't too bad, right? Sending cards home is really pretty easy. The hard part's really just finding the right cards and buying them and getting them queued up and all that good stuff. So once you've got your list kind of prepared, it goes smooth. But next, we're going to cover how you submit cards to COMC. Now that's the same or similar type of process, but instead of taking cards off the site, we're obviously ingesting them into the site. So here I'm going to show you again from the brand new account what it's going to look like when you first go in. We're going to walk through the preliminary steps here, and then I will again cut over to my main account and walk you through some cards that I'm going to be sending in myself through a promotion that COMC is running in July. And in that demonstration, I will show you the entire process from me boxing the cards up, it's fast forwarded of course, and what the package looks like once it's packaged, how to make sure your collectibles get there safely, how you want to make sure the box is labeled properly to get through shipping and receiving quickly, and lastly, dropping it at the post office itself. So here we are on the Good Form Sports Cards. We'll call it the training profile here, and we just went through the buyer menu because we were handling cards that we bought. Now we're looking to handle cards we intend to sell. We're going to go down to the seller menu, and right here you have a submission option, and then it's similar to up here how you have a request shipment and a shipment history. You can start a new submission and then also review your submission status, which is going to show the history of all your submissions as well. So they tend to mirror each other a little bit. We're going to go to start a new submission. And from our previous demonstration, it has our return address populated in here. We're just going to leave that. Again, you can change it. You can change your information anytime. We want to confirm that it is correct. We're going to go next. Okay, now I'm going to kind of rush through this menu because when I go through the example of me submitting my actual cards, I'll go through it in greater detail then. But for now, we'll just do the expedited version to show you kind of the high-level overview of how it's done here on the training COMC profile. So here, basically, it's confirming what items are you sending. Are you sending single cards, licensed products, authentic? It's going to walk through basically what they accept and what they don't. You want to make sure that the items you are sending do fall within these parameters. If they don't, you could try to force them, but really what happens is they'll just charge you an ingestion fee, put it in your inventory, and it just basically sits there until you send it home. So don't try to game the system and see if they'll push it through. If you're honestly not sure, down here it follows you all the time. There is a support button you can push. There is, believe it or not, live chat. I've run into them. You got to get to them during business hours. If you are outside of business hours, you can put in a ticket. They typically respond pretty quick. If you're not sure, I would just ask and save yourself the money. Don't go through the hassle sending it in there, paying the ingestion fee and then paying the shipment home. Not worth it. All right, so next, here you are going to pick your potential services. All right, and it could be grading. It could be part of promotion that they have, like right here, there looks like they're currently running an NFL event, or different auctions or standard ingestions. Now you can see there's fees, necessities, and there's a lot to go over, and I'm kind of blazing through it because I'm going to cover that again in more detail when we formally go through a submission. So right now we're just going through the high level overview just to get you through the process. We're going to assume it's just standard. We're going to hit next. So once you pick your service level, you can pick out, and this is saying exactly what you're sending in on the standard level. So here I was saying I'm sending in exactly 300 raw cards with an estimated value of 5,000. You can then add another, you can continue to add groups. So I could say I'm going to send exactly 25 uncirculated cards, which is going to be those cards that are in like the mags, your uncirculated X-fractors and stuff like that, the Panini sealed mags. Those are going to be here, and the ingestion fee is a little different. And then, of course, if you're not sending uncirculated cards or you're sending graded cards, we know what those are. They tend to put those together. The graded and uncirculated cards, they just charge a little bit more of an ingestion fee, which, again, I will talk about in greater detail in that example. So we're going to hit next, skip through this. Looks like I've got to delete that out of there. They don't want that extra group. Okay, I'm going to hit next. And here is where you're going to get your final setup. You're going to pick your submission center, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can ship to COMC headquarters, which is normally going to be what you do. If you live locally, you can physically drop it off. Or if you have, like right here, they've got at the National, looks like you can drop it off, where there'll be basically different shows they'll be at, and you can physically drop them off there if you wish. So I have the check mark defaulted here to ignore Canadian locations. You can open those up if you wish to see them. COMC Canada, apparently. I am going to just continue to ignore those. But if you're Canadian, that is how you enable it, and you can see your functions there. I'm just going to hit ship to. So it is going to say ship to COMC headquarters. First, it's going to ask you, to best of your knowledge, the information is correct, which it should be. Here's the items from the previous screen. It breaks them down here, 300 raw, 25 graded, so it's 325 total. Estimated ingestion fees, prorates them out for you. So this is how much money you'll basically need in your account to get all of those ingested for sale. So there is a little bit of cost involved before you can start making money. It's like anything else in business, you got to spend money to make money. So you will be paying for their services before you can do anything. They don't let you sell your cards and then pay for it out of the proceeds. They make you pay for the ingestion up front, then you make your money back on the sales. The estimated value is based on the value we put in the fields there. So this is going to be the insured value of the box when we send it. And once I approve the submission, it is going to give me some forms to print out, package everything up. And that is how you do a submission. Pretty straightforward, right? So I'm going to bring you through a real life one of me doing it on my page with my cards and show you the entire process, walk you through that, walk you through the fees a little bit more in depth, and we will see you there. Okay, so here we're on my main COMC dashboard, and you can see this yellow banner here is outlining a promotion that is currently going on through July 11th. I'm recording this July 10th, so I waited till the very last minute to make sure I got everything prepared that I wanted to send. But the promotion here is free graded card submission. Okay, take advantage and submit your slabs through July 11th. Click here for details. So let's take a look at that. So here, submit your graded cards for free. They've got a little promo going here. Excited to announce a rare limited time promotion that you won't want to miss, which is true. I'll explain why. From now until July 11th, COMC is offering free graded card submissions. This promotion is a can't miss, so submit your slabs today. So they could have worded this better because they also have grading submissions they do through their platform. So if you buy a card on the platform, you could submit it for grading, and you wouldn't want people to think like, wow, I'm getting a bulk grading fee that's normally $20-ish, and now it's free. I'm getting my cards graded for free. That is certainly not the case. What they are talking about is right here. It says, as part of this event, you can submit any graded cards from our supported grading companies for free. This offer is valid for mail-in submissions only Graded cards will be processed within 4 weeks once they're received and logged. There is no limit to submissions in maximum list price, so submit your slabs today. So what this is saying is you can do a submission of your cards to COMC. Now typically their insertion fee for the slabs are $1 a piece. That can stack up quick, especially if you're trying to sell low-end stuff that you know maybe you got a PSA 6 on a card that is low value anyways, and you're real lucky if you're going to get $5 or $6 out of selling that. The last thing you want to do is put $1 into just inserting it, and then you pay an auction fee or whatever other platform fees through COMC. It really doesn't make sense for you to sell those there. But if you can get it onto their site for free, that's a different story. So this is a really, really nice promotion, and it is a bit of a tip if you get into COMC. If you're already there, or if you're watching these videos and wanting to get involved or test it out a little more, definitely keep an eye out for messages like that, especially ones that'll hit your email. They do run promotions from time to time, and sometimes they're really helpful. A couple of the ones I can speak of historically is one time around Christmas, they had submissions that were reduced to like 35 cents instead of 50 cents for regular raw cards, which is nice because then you could submit a little bit lower end cards and have a little more room to work, or you just plain costs you less to upload a bunch of cards. So it's nice. Anytime you can save money like that, you want to take advantage of those and make sure that whatever you're thinking of sending there, you use these promotions to get them there. Any bit that you save is essentially profit. So it says it must be postmarked by the 11th. So not only do I need to complete this on the site, but I must have it postmarked. So let's get started with the submission form. Even though this is a promotion, it's going to follow the same process. They will just add a field for this promotion, which I'll show you here. So we're going to click to start a new submission. And this is the COMC submission form. Now for this account, I have it going to my home address, so I'm going to block out my info here. I'm going to confirm that my info is correct. You're going to want to make sure that the address that you want your card shipped to is correct here. That's what's going to be on your order. I'm sure if you screw up, you could update it later, but just get it right from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to hit next. Okay. And here, it's going to tell you exactly what items they support. I do have some cards that I send in that I thought would be supported and they weren't. We can go through them here quickly. So they, in a single card, they want no factory sealed boxes, no factory sealed packs or sets. The multi-piece cards such as like Thunder and Lightning, so on and so forth, they will be separated and processed individually. So you can't send like a subset or something like that and have it uploaded and sold as like a lot. They're going to sell each card individually. Okay. Here we go, 97, 98, Skybox 1-and-1, Allen and Ginter, RIP cards, etc. Okay, so you want to send your cards as singled. Here we go, licensed. Must be licensed by league, team, players association, product company, etc. No unlicensed trading cards, art cards, or sketch cards. That's what I sent in. It got rejected as I had some unlicensed like Mike Tyson boxing cards. I thought I've seen similar stuff on here and I thought I'd be able to sell them. Unfortunately, I was not. So next time I have a shipment home, I will have to have those returned to me. And they do charge you for having to deal with them and put them into your inventory and stuff like that. So don't think it's like PSA where if you want to keep submitting a card that is undersized and see if it passes, and when it doesn't, they just send it home, no charge, no grade. This is not the case. So if you try to sneak something by and it doesn't work, you are going to get charged. Authenticity, pretty straightforward. We'll go through it anyway. Reprints must be clearly stated as such on the card. Such heavily counterfeited cards will require grading, such as the 86 Fleer Jordan. So you're not going to see raw 86 Jordans on here. Liability issues. There's a lot of counterfeits and a lot of good counterfeits out there. They just decide we're not even going to get involved in that. Cards declined by major grading companies. They put some example here would be the 95 Chong Modesto A's McGuire. It may be unsupported, okay? Backdoored cards may also be unsupported. All right. Which the backdoored cards, if you don't know what they're referring to there, would be cards that escape the printing facilities through the back door. Might be something that maybe it had a defect. Sometimes you see a lot of these cards out there, and for the people that may not be really experienced, they could get ripped off, but you see a lot of these on like the Fleer Ultra Platinum medallions. The Platinum medallions are serial numbered. There are some that look exactly like a normal Platinum medallion. It has everything on there, but there's no serial number, there's no foil. And those are typically backdoored type of cards, okay? You'll see stuff like that where someone managed to get a card that is what it is out of the building, and they will sell them, and that's unfortunately the stuff that goes on in the hobby. But if they happen to get one here that they basically can see as an authentic card, but it's really not the way it's supposed to be, or what they're calling is backdoored, however they identify that, I don't know. But if you have one of those and they reject it, shouldn't be surprised, okay? As of January 1st, 2019, we've updated our family-friendly content policy. We're not really going to get too into the weeds there. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you wouldn't be submitting like those racy playing cards with nude girls on them, anything that just is questionable. It's like, if it wouldn't get through your code of conduct at your job, it's not going to get through their standards here. That sort of thing. Just use good judgment. Please review the policy and ensure your future consignments will be accepted. So we have straight up sports cards that are already graded, so this is the easiest to determine. Last thing is sellable condition. We accept trading cards of all conditions. However, while altered vintage cards will be noted as such, altered modern cards will be unsupported. Modern cards printed 1981 or later in less than near mint to mint condition, and vintage cards in less than EX condition will be listed in appropriate condition ranges after being evaluated by our team. We'll see these in your inventory a lot of times. Rather than me hunt around the site on this sort of thing, I'm just going to throw a screenshot in while I talk that shows how an EX card is identified within the site. It's very easy to see. Where you do have to watch yourself is if you're doing COMC auctions and noticing a card that is maybe in VG or very good condition. It's not as in your face on the eBay listing as it is within the COMC platform, okay? So you do need to watch that. COMC does vet that stuff out. They also miss stuff. It's a human-controlled system, okay? There is that. Human element is real. The Sport of Trading card policy is here if you need any more information on that. Really, listening to me talk about this is, I hope, the most time you ever spend on it. You should come here, have a really good idea what you want to submit, and just arrow right through it, okay? So we're going to go on to step 3, and this is picking your service. So here's their services that they have, and our promotion should show up in here. So they have director grading. This is really nice. This is almost kind of like submitting through GameStop in a way. You could submit your cards in here. COMC is going to probably put them in some sort of bulk order to get their bulk pricing. You don't need to buy a membership. You don't need to do any of that stuff. And the nice part about it is the cards then come back to COMC. You can put in your account and you can sell them right away. So it tells you right here, cards may only be listed for sale after they are graded through a third-party grading service offered by COMC. So that is a pretty nice feature that they have. You can obtain raw cards, send them off, and as part of the grading service, you don't have to then ship them to COMC and all that. They take care of all of it. So it's pretty much you prep your card, send it to COMC, and it eventually shows back up in your inventory. You can sell it. You don't have to touch it. So if they're cards that you just are buying to resell, flip, whatever, it is a nice feature. I've never used it, but I can see how it is very lucrative for the people that are very, very efficient. They don't like to be as hands-on. I like to be hands-on. Okay. All right. So we've got the free graded submissions. This is the one we're going to be picking, so we'll get back to that. The elite submission. This one you can see it's a quick return time, 2 weeks, $2 a card. So if you send in 10 cards, you're going to be paying $20. That's going to be deducted out of your credits as they upload the cards. Once they're there, you can then sell them, and you will have the fees that apply to whatever particular route of sales that you have. We're not going to go too much into those fees here because we're just looking to submit cards to COMC to get them onto the platform. Selling is a whole nother animal, okay? Fresh pulls eligible. They have a promotion here with fresh pulls. You can see they save 50% off elite. This is suitable for single trading cards that are valued more than $50. So you could pay the elite, but they're basically telling you if that card has a $10 value, it's probably not the most suitable service to use. They'll allow it, but they're basically telling you no. Okay, eBay auctions. This is a nice one too. You can submit your cards straight in. You notice there is no insertion fee here because you have add-on restrictions based on whatever type of auction you want to do. But I typically send cards in that I intend to at some point sell an auction if they don't sell. Now, where that's at a disadvantage for me is I pay the insertion fee, and then I later pay the auction insertion fee right here of 99 cents, okay? However, if you knew you just wanted to straight up auction it right away, you could use this, and you don't pay that insertion fee. They just charge you that 99 cents, insert it right away, and boom. So you are saving a little bit of money, and it's quicker. The problem is you don't get to time your auctions. So I'll try to get stuff in, make sure It's there a month or two ahead of time before I really want to sell it, and then I'll put it in an auction at a time that's optimal. For instance, football cards you would sell on the run up to the season or even in the preseason. I want those cards gone by week 1. Doing this, there's no guarantee that's going to happen. They say 2 to 3 weeks, but if you're trying to time it, what if 2 weeks is ideal for you, but this goes a little long and all of a sudden it's 4 weeks and you missed your window? I would rather pay those upload fees, them insertion fees a little earlier, basically make that back end some by timing my sale. However, this is a good service. If you're not really concerned about that, if you're selling players that are, let's just say like Michael Jordan, he's going to sell year round. He's not doing anything in the playoffs or in active NBA basketball that's going to really drive his cards to spike or go to the negative suddenly. So he would be the optimal situation. If you had like a Michael Jordan PSA 10 of something, you could send it in, go straight to auction. It's going to sell really well. That would be what I would probably use that service for. But if it's a slower moving card or somebody that's inactive, just use your best judgment. That's all I'm going to say. Here we've got the select service. This is also 2 weeks, and it is $1 per card. The same promotion here with fresh pulls, and they're saying this is also suitable for cards valued less than $50, but there is a $2 fee to list the card for more than $100. So what they're saying is this is a little more affordable than Elite, and it's for you to get those mid-range cards in, but if you try to get cute with it and sneak a bunch of cards in under that $1 fee and then go list buy it now for over 100, they're going to reprocess that as Elite. They're going to say, no, if you want, we'll allow you to price this, but in doing so, you're going to pay that extra $1. So you can't really get cute with them in game and say, well, I'm just going to send everything in on the cheapest and then ramp up the fee. They're wise to that. They're not going to let you get all your cards in at half price in the 2 week window and then try to game them on the back end. They've got it figured out, so don't do it. Standard, 16-week turn time. So you can see we go from half a month to 4 months. Where this is advantageous is this is where you can get your small cards you don't really care about. This is again, suitable for cards under 50. There's a minimum order of $10, so that's basically to get this service, you're going to need to give them 20 cards or more. And for this service, you need 3 cards. So you can see this is more of like your bulk, cheap cards. But with you having a 50-cent insertion fee, and then you're paying fees based on what you sell, that card pretty much needs to be selling at least at, I would say, probably 75 cents for you to even make a little bit. You know, I think this with a sale fee, if you sold it, would be, and plus your shipping that is it costs you to send to them. If you kind of spread that out over your order, you might be looking at an initial cost of just 60 cents. Like a 60-cent sale fee would be about break even, roughly, okay? If you're going to send in lower valued cards, you probably want to be in the $3 plus range. That is a little bit of a segue into a video I'll be doing in the near future that shows where I like to remarket my lower end sport card to make the biggest profit, kind of where the price point is of where I switch between eBay and COMC and what the strategy is there, so on and so forth, okay? So look forward for that one in the future. Here, we're going to continue with the submission. The last things we're going to go over here is there are some qualifications for the cards you send in. So your insertion fee is going to be even more for oversized cards. So if you send in like the jumbo downtowns, stuff like that, it's going to be even more. They charge a fee here, 50 cents, for cards that need to be removed from a protective holder. So if you send your cards in top loaders, pages, card saver ones, one touches, etc., they are going to charge you for it. However, there's no additional cards for cards shipped in penny sleeves. There you go. Ship your cards in penny sleeves and make sure that whatever little box you put them in is going to protect them from moving around. They're not going to get dinged. They're not going to get damaged. That's the way to keep your costs down. But if you're sending in cards, I mean, even here, $50, I wouldn't want a whole bunch of $50 cards just bouncing around in a box, right? So keep that in mind. If you just don't care, if you're like, I'll just pay the extra 50 cents and I'm going to send a bunch of top loaders, cool. I try to keep my cost at a minimum always. Same goes for here. It's just a lesser tier. The same 50-cent charge. You want to avoid that. And the same 50 cent if you send a slab. So you can send slabs in at the standard rate, which is what I usually do. So it's the 50-cent insertion plus 50 for the slab. So it's $1 a slab when I send it in normally. That's the cheapest you can get a slab uploaded for sale on COMC without going like direct or using their grading services. So this is where this promo comes in handy. I'm sending in 103 slabs, as you saw. That'd be $103 in credit that would be pulled from my account, as these are uploaded. So before I even sold anything, I'm into those for 103, and then I need to start selling them to recover that. And I already have cost into them as far as grading and the raw cards and all kinds of stuff. So it's just more and more and more costs you have to try to make up. This submission is really great because I'm saving $103 by sending these low-end slabs there, which is awesome. That's great. It's a no-brainer for me. So once you have your service picked out, which we're going to go here, you select that, and I guess we got to go to the bottom, and we're going to hit next. So a lot of talking there for a lot of nothing. So it's going to ask you what you have here. So if you're sending in a submission, hypothetically speaking, we go back to the standard shipping. And I might say I have 50 raw cards and 10 slabs. Well, you're going to put in 2 different line items here. You're going to say what it is. You're going to say how many items, and you give it approximate value. So here, I'm going to say I have exactly 103 items. And I'm going to speculate that it's roughly $20 a card, give or take. I have at least that much into grading and stuff, so we're just going to say the estimated value is $2,000. You know what? I want to beef that up a little bit and say like $3,000, just because that's actually what I have into them probably. So if something happens, it would be a legitimate claim, I guess, that you would be able to recover that. So if this was a different submission here where we needed different line items, we could switch this and say I have approximately this many. And since this is a slab only, it's not giving you different drop downs of what you have. So we're just going to remove that, proceed on with these here. But if you had a combination of things, like maybe a couple jumbo cards, a couple slabs, a couple raw cards, this is where you would separate them and try to make sure that your bill of lading, or whatever you want to call it, is accurate, and it's going to get you through the system quicker. So we're going to hit next. So it is going to give us a recap here, and it is going to say select a submission center. I typically send to the COMC headquarters, and this is ship. So you can drop off if you're local. I'm going to select there. So it says ship to COMC headquarters. To the best of my knowledge, all the information is correct, and none of the included items are altered or counterfeit. So if you try to sneak one by them, they're just getting more and more layers. So we're going to approve the submission. Okay, and this is where it gets important. So we want to print these packing slips out, but you're also going to get these barcodes and QR codes where you're going to want to print a few extra to put outside the box. All right, so I'm going to print these now, and then I will cut back to the feed to show you how you want to package up your cards to send to COMC. Okay, now before we continue, I want to share here, this looks like a lot more than 103 slabs, and that's because it is. When we were just setting that up, I looked at that 4-week turn time and thought to myself, I could sneak some more football and maybe some basketball in here. It's going to get uploaded by middle of August and be ready for the beginning of the season for football and basketball. So I got some of my low-end football and basketball in here and stuff that's just been harder to move. I'm going to include that here. I'm actually going to make a second shipment, box them up, and get both shipments, or I should say both submissions, in one shipment. I'll show you how to do that. We'll get the labels, all that good stuff. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I pack the slabs here, and then I'm going to kind of just fast forward through it as I work it. It's just not worth watching. I don't need to see every card that I'm sending here, because you can see we've got a Mackay Becton CGC, we've got an old 1970 top slab that I upgraded, a WWE SGC 9. A lot of these cards you've seen on previous grading reveals as well. I've had them listed for 6 months plus, and there just has been little to no movement on them, so it's time to just get them uploaded. I'll put them at fixed for a while in COMC, but really for me, it's just getting it away from me, something I just don't have to watch and sift through as I continue to dig for the cards that do sell. I just want to get the stuff that's physically on hand down to something that's more manageable for me, and it's a big stress relief. It really is to send these sort of cards off. So what I'm going to do, I've got these sorted out by company just so they stack better in packaging, and I'm going to rubber band them together in sections of 10 to make it easier to count, and also make it easier in transit. Okay, so we don't want these to move around, and we don't want them to potentially get damaged. It's going to be a heavy box, so we're going to pack it very, very tight, make sure that stuff is in there, and then I like to pack it with a box within a box. Okay, so you can see over here I've got a box that I'm going to put these slabs in, or as many of them as I can. I'm going to pack that up real tight, and then that's going to go into a larger box with some bubble wrap around it, just to prevent it from moving around and also to prevent theft. Now, if somebody wants to do something bad, it doesn't really matter what you do, however many boxes you use, how thick a tape, that kind of thing, you know, however strong it is. If someone wants to steal that, they're going to steal it. You can't build a fence tall enough. You can't build an alarm loud enough. If someone's going to do bad, they're going to do bad. But you can do things to at least take away the low-hanging fruit from thieves, okay? So packages that are going to COMC's headquarters, anybody that is delivering that knows what it is and why it's going there. They know there's cards in there. They know it's from some sort of store or collector or something along those lines. The sender is even often labeled as something that is referencing sports cards. And you hear about this stuff getting stolen in the mail all the time. So what I like to do is have it sending not from my sports cards, but from my personal home address under my name, just to take a little bit of, I guess you call it obviousness or whatever you want to call it, away from that, and add maybe a little deterrent. With the boxes with inside a box, it's not like they could quick crack the seal, get in there, take a card or two, put it back, and go undetected. So that's the plan here with the box within a box. I'm going to start partitioning these off, getting them ready. I'm going to do that first 103 card submission that we just watched, and then I'm going to take the rest of the slabs, create a second submission offline where you don't have to watch it. I'll get that ready, and then we will do the final packaging and labeling and all that good stuff, and we'll show you how to get it prepped and ready for COMC. So here's an example right here. It's just kind of a play on how SGC does it. You can see these are in here tight. You could have to put a little pressure on to get them apart, but sitting in transit packed like this, they should be just fine. So here's a little peek at the first box. You can see we've got them packed in chunks of 10, and then we got 5s in the middle here. These were a little thicker, so we got 4, 5, and then 6, but that's an even 75. Got it nice and tight. These don't move around. So this would be something I will box up like this, tape it tight, and then on to the next. So here's 75 from the first submission. I'm gonna go back into fast forward here and finish these up. And that has it, 34. So you know, another 69 slabs plus the 103 makes 172 slabs that I will be sending to COMC. All right, so I've gotten things a little closer to the finish line here. You can see this is not something you have to do, but I do it just to be a little bit easier to work with. So what I did is I actually took some penny sleeves and I cut the little QR code out and I labeled it, you know, box 1 of 2, however many cards are in each one, just to make it a little easier. They ask that you label each box and also include packing slips within the main box. So I will have one big packing slip for this and for this, along with everything. So now, just comes the final part here of putting a little bubble wrap in here and trying to get a good foundation and protect the cards. This is the box within a box I was speaking of. So here, I'm gonna slowly but surely take these off. I like to get these nice and tight, so really kind of squeeze it there and pull that tape tight, get that seal. We're not gonna make this crazy for them. Just, you know, if they want to get the packing slip out, they can. Nothing's going to really happen to this in transit here. I'm just going to tape that down like so. I'll get this in the cam a little better for you. So if they want to just get that out, they can. If they don't have to. We are going to get this in. All right. Time for the next one. And it might be a little overkill taping these like this, but again, like I was saying, I want a deterrent if anybody gets any ideas. They're gonna have to break multiple seals and really be committed to the task. So here is box number 2. Put that in here. And you can see once it's kind of prepped, this goes pretty quick. Not too bad. Again, you could just cut this out here and just tape it on the box. You don't need to sleeve it or do anything like this. It was just, I'm already doing it. I try to make it as clean for them as possible. Make it to where my cards are getting processed and into the system as quickly as they can without a whole lot of additional work or confusion or anything needed on COMC's side. All right. And that's what she looks like here. And we're going to put a packing slip for each in here. Try to get this in the cam so you can see it a little better. Got the 103 card here. All right, I almost confused myself with some paperwork there. So we'll get these in the cam here. We've got the 69 items, 103 items. So we're going to put one of these each in here. Then I'm going to fast forward a little more while I pack the rest of this up. We will close it, and then I'll show you how you mark the outside of the box. All right, one little cut here. I'm putting these empty boxes in here. They're going to be held down by the pressure of the top, and they're going to keep everything from shifting up and down. And that is pretty much it. This should be packed really nice and tight. Got the packing slips under here. So we'll get this here, get this box sealed up and get it to the post office. Okay, and last but not least, I've got the same QR codes I put on the submissions inside. I'm going to put them on the outside of the box here, and I'm going to put them on each side. Now, it might be overkill. They don't require you to do it. But for me, I want, no matter how this comes in, I want it to be easy for them to scan. I don't want it to be a problem. So it's not hard for me to print out a little bit of extra and get this thing through the system properly. You can see nothing too crazy. And we're going to make sure that this presents well. It doesn't sit in shipping, receiving, or anything like that. Okay, and here it is, the final result. It's kind of hard to get the box in the frame here, but there it is. And I will be dropping this off at the post office here in just a few minutes. And in a few weeks when this hits my COMC inventory, I'll do a little update, show you what that looks like, show you how I can ingest those and start getting them priced or send them to auction, that sort of things. Okay, so now the package is all boxed up. It's on its way to the post office. And now all you have to do is really sit and wait. So there's a couple things you can do. Right here is where you'll see your submission status once they receive it. They'll confirm they received it, and they will put like basically a countdown on here. They'll say 103 items, and as they're checked in, it'll keep telling you how many are left until it's done. You'll be getting updates periodically, and your credits don't get deducted until the cards are uploaded. So they kind of do it in sections. So you'll get one, and you might get 3 cards uploaded one day, 10 another day, so on and so forth. And as they do them, they're going to deduct fees. Now, in this case, there's going to be no deductions, which is fantastic. The cards are just going to show up in your inventory. And when new cards hit your inventory, they show up right here. And it'll say you have X amount of cards in your inventory. You need to basically choose what you want to do with them. Do you want to add them to a queue to be shipped home? Do you just want to save them unlisted in your inventory, like basically just sit on them for a little bit until you're ready to sell it? Do you want to list it at a fixed price right now? Do you want to send it to auction? So on and so forth. So really all there is to do at this point is just kind of monitor your submission to the finish line. Where you can do that is here's where you can start a submission, but you can also look at your submission status. And you can see here's all the submissions I've had over the years. The current one I have is right here. And you can see it is, you can put your tracking number in here, that sort of thing, and basically your updates are going to be here. All right, so that's pretty much it for getting cards submitted to COMC. It's very straightforward. You can do it anytime, but I would strongly advise to capitalize on any promotion they run, if you have anything that would fit and you are basically staging cards to go to COMC, even if you're in the middle of a project and you're like, oh, I really want to get through this batch of cards and send like everything in, I would really advise to just send whatever you can on a promotion, whatever you can do to keep your fees down. It's always going to be the most profitable for you. But that is it for now. That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps me, helps the channel. If you found any of this helpful, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you currently use COMC and if you like it, or if you will consider using them now after watching the videos. Really anything. Just looking to interact with you guys. Want to hear what you like, what you don't like, that sort of thing. So that is it though. So once those cards are received by COMC and I start to see those hit my inventory, I'll do just a little follow-up, or I'll add it into a different COMC video because it's not going to take a lot of time to go over it, but I'll just add it as a little follow-up item and show you what that looks like. And that would really be all you need to do to see the submission through. But that's it for today. So until next time, we'll see you.